President Tony and fellows. My first find today is to Grant. Grant, get up. Okay, as you all know, Grant's responsible for the Sergeant's roster. I first joined Rotary in 1991. I joined the Rotary Club of Napier, where I was a member for several years, and I transferred down to Wellington and eventually hooked up with this club 9 years ago. And this is my very, very first time at being a sergeant. So big find to you, Grant, for finally catching up with me. Okay, so bear with me because it is my first time ever and I'm not sure if I've really got this right or not. Okay, so there was an interesting little bit in the paper last week about a very important job that's coming up in China, and a couple of our members were mentioned. John McKinnon, Charles Finney. I think you can both pay for the advertorial in the Dom Post. Thank you. Okay, and when I arrived today, Kerry told me that she had decided to sit down the back, which is a place where I sit very often at that table down the back, but she decided to join us today. As she discovered that I was Sergeant, the reason for her sitting down there has changed a little bit, but Kerry, nice to have you down there, but you need to pay. Right, can everybody stand up, please? Right, yesterday was Mother's Day. So, if you're a mother, you can sit down. You need to remain standing if you have a mother or you've ever had a mother, and you need to pay. Yes, yeah, you're allowed to sit down once you've paid. If you don't want to pay, you have to keep standing for the rest of the session. Now, I read with interest in the Dom Post this morning that Wellingtonians are people that exhale a lot of hot air. So this was the featured letter to the editor in this morning's paper. As a Wellingtonian recently returned from a stint in Auckland, I'm continually pleased by the friendliness, good humour and relaxed temperament of our city's citizens, compared with their northern counterparts. However, Wellingtonians have one bad habit that continually irritates me: their stubborn refusal to open bus windows, no matter how stuffy it may be on the inside. I am losing count of how many times I have boarded a bus and, having been enveloped in mugginess, open a window only to have it immediately slammed shut behind me. Admittedly, some of our buses suffer from the design flaw, which allows our world-renowned horizontal rain to come driving in. But on fine days, or even for those days when we have only rain of the vertical variety, there's no excuse. So do us all a favour and let some fresh air in. And I say, if you've ever travelled on a bus, if you've ever been in a car behind a bus, you need to pay for the hot, stuffy air in the bus. Right, the next item that I have here is another thing out of the Dom Post this morning. And so anybody who owns a yacht, and I know there's 2 or 3 in the room, can you stand up please? Where are our yacht owners? Up. Or any kind of boat. And keep standing. And anybody who's ever been on said yachts or boats. Yes, that's getting a bit more like it. So here's what I read Here's what I read this morning. A Northland man survived several hours in the water after he was swept off a yacht while taking a pee, while his shipmates slept below. So, For all of you who've ever been on a yacht or a boat, and anyone else who's ever been caught short, have a fine for you, please, from you, please. Now, finally, I'd like to go back to actually Grant. I'm not going to fine him again, though.